It's working on it. But we should be live. In effect, the VeVe Bros, episode 4. We've made it 4 weeks in a row. Ben, check your mic.
Check.
There we go. You know what?
Ben-Jammin in the building.
There you go. So we're working through some of the little technical difficulties as we set up on this episode 4. But shouts out to you if you out there are going to tune into this later, to our millions and millions of fans around the world and our live studio audience in attendance. It's episode 4, man. Crazy week on VeVe again. I'm gonna let Ben get into this week in VeVe, but because I want to make sure Cisco's mic is good and well ready to work. So go ahead, Ben. Take us through kind of how your week was this last week in VeVe as far as drops, and we'll let Cisco chime in, and I'm gonna just do a little audio check while y'all talk. Go ahead.
Well, last week I wasn't here. I was in Vegas. It was funny.
Las Vegas!
The night after the episode was filmed, the comics.
Check.
I hit on my first comic drop. I actually hit on my first comic drop. First time ever.
First
one ever.
I still have not.
Using Vegas Wi-Fi from the hotel and shit.
Viva Las Vegas.
Hit.
Which one did you hit?
It was the Killmonger one, the Black Panther.
Jungle Action.
Yep. Jungle Action, number 6. It was just a common, but still, I was excited. I was hoping for
Killmonger. I wanted that one for sure.
Hey, comics are like impossible to hit now. Like, you get just lucky as how if you hit one.
Hey, is that Vegas Wi-Fi? Help me out.
Your mic's working fine.
It was good.
All right, sweet.
I didn't get lucky on anything else. Went for the next drops that came out, which was.
We had Uncanny X-Men 282.
Which is Cable's first appearance.
First appearance of Cable. Yep. That's right. I went for it. I didn't get it. I just skipped right there.
I bought a few of them. But very cheap, $10, but really good mints.
Yeah,
stack.
I don't have
sub 5%. I bought 4 sub 5% comics on that one for under a total of $80.
Nice.
Under
that's good.
A total for 4 of them. I was like, well, yeah, right now they're probably not that valuable, but for sure, just future hold. Just people are putting them up there. I'll take it right now.
I think comics are going to follow similar paths. Who knows if they hold them? Probably some of the more popular and like blue chip style comics. I think they're going to hold their value over time better. But I think every comic will probably have its day in the sun where you damn well sure are probably going to 1x or 2x where you could double your money,
It is Cable.
And comics are only $6.99.
Actually, I was talking to someone online and they're saying that Method Man does a bunch of Cable cosplay, and that they've said that Method Man should play Cable in the MCU. So get Method Man into the MCU, Disney. You hear that? So what else we have? Ben-Jammin.
Then we also had. I did not go for any of those 007 drops.
Those were big drops, though. Those affected the market and the entire app more than I think. We could anticipate it.
They look really cool.
The fact that they separated the drop and they didn't make you pick which one you're gonna go for, whether it's the expensive one or the cheaper one. Usually if it's not blind box, you can pick. I want to go for the common. I want to go for the rare. They completely said, all right, this one's at 12. This one's at 8 a.m. So what are you gonna do? I went for the $300 one for the first one, the one that was what?
Yeah, the ultra rare. I went for the ultra rare too, and it sold out instantly.
Yeah,
it didn't even look for it. Just clicked it, sold out. Sorry. All copies allocated. So trust, we know the pain when you don't get a drop. It sucks. And
then next up after those 007 drops, we had Ghost Rider. Big surprise.
That was the big drop, right?
Big. We knew it was gonna perform well. I did not think it would perform this well. It just kept rising and kept rising.
It pretty much hit its low of $11, an hour and a half, 2 hours after the drop. And then it hit $40 within, 10 hours of that. So you're looking at a 300% increase within that time. So man, that was kind of a trip to see that. But we called it. We knew it.
We knew it was gonna perform well.
Well, we just knew. I was telling you guys, everyone knew it was gonna be a big comic, as far as just especially for new users. I had put that on the feed on the VeVe app feed, which everyone should use, man. The feed is actually really cool. Whenever you're on the app, besides just looking at prices and looking at the market or whatever, another cool thing, hit that center panel and look at the feed and post, and you get followers and you interact with people. And like even from the feed, you could just see like people were pumped up about this one, but certain people were sleeping on it. They just didn't know. And I had posted like, hey man, like if you're newer to the app, which we are, we didn't get to see Marvel Comics #1 drop. We didn't get to see Amazing Spider-Man #1 drop, or Fantastic Four 1 or Fantastic Four 5. Like it kind of sucks. Like they're already $100 comics. We're already up there when we got on the app. And we hear the stories, because even if you look at the price chart for Marvel Comics 1, it dropped, and in September of this year, it was September? Yeah, September of this year was at $14. So just imagine that one. If you had just stacked MC #1,
but there also was the thing about those older grails that are on the app, the ones that came out like at first, there's a lot more copies of them. So even when you put that into perspective, the fact that they're double and triple, quadruple some of them just for the common, the floor of the common is that much higher, and there's double of the amount of those out there.
Right.
Still, that means
and if you look at how many are posted in the market, it's not like an enormous number.
Yeah, and when they first dropped, you weren't able to read them in AR and do that stuff. Those features came down.
There are only 640 on the market right now of all 60,000. So that is insane.
1%.
That
1%.
Which comic?
Marvel Comics #1. So back to the point, like we weren't around for those, so it was kind of cool to see. Like this was that moment, and I told the bros, I'm like, bro, this is our chance to stack on this one, or just this is a big comic, don't get it twisted, because I've kind of been like the comic Scrooge, I'm just ruining Christmas on a lot of these comics, because I'm just in the mentality of like, don't get gassed up, and there are fillers. Like everyone wants to read into it. Why did VeVe drop this though? Why did they drop it? It's like, well, because it's interesting enough to get you to talk, but it's definitely not. It's not a killer. It's a filler. Like it's just there to it's good. It's solid. Like it's not bad, but it's definitely not, it's not one of the top tier. And then you get one and people go and list it for $10 and $12. Yeah. And you saw, dude, the Ghost Rider. Yep. I had the most screenshots I've ever had. I'll take screenshots in the market as I'm sniping. Most of them I miss, but every now and again, I might get lucky, but I'll miss them. But I'll at least take a screenshot just to show proof that people are posting 3-digit sub 500s for $10, $14, $16,
usually if
$12.
If I want to snipe a comic after the drop and I can't get them, the lowest one, the floor or whatever. Why do you post that? Trying to get it. I'll go like comics posted lowered, and I'll get that one, and I'll be like, right. I paid $8 more, $12 more. Fine, I'm cool with that. I couldn't even get those. Those were being sniped too. Right. Was like, so some people.
Yeah, I was on VeVe Vault. VeVe Vault was trying, and he's good, and he couldn't get none. And I got lucky. I sniped 5 right off the bat. I didn't pay more than $15 for one of them from the first few I got, and then I ended up buying a 3-digit mint, 700, somewhere in the 700s for like $120. So I pulled the trigger on that. Got me a 5%er for like $50. So I know there were better deals, but this is when everything was boom, 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 boom. And then I got a couple of them for $14, $13, 4 digits. Then I posted those up for like $25, $26, and they sold right away. And then I look back and they're at $40 each. I'm like, damn, I should have just waited. I probably get $50 for each of these now. Yeah. And really, if you wait another year, this one could easily be, this Ghost Rider comic could easily be the $100 plus club, and we don't really talk about it enough, but I just want to bring it up. Like there's a lot of comics that, speculate on them and this and that, but man, that number of $100, from like just the price point, it has a psychological power over people where they're like, man, I'm not gonna pay like 3 digits for this, for a comic that has 30,000 copies, and they start making the other reasons it's not worth that. And then they break that, and they kind of, once they're out of that $100 little, resistance, sure, they might go back for a little while, but they're always going to kind of live above it. And there's a lot of comics on there, the fillers, that I'm telling you, I don't care if we got 10 million users, Some of these comics are never going to hit $100. You just got to understand that they're priced at what they're worth right now. You know, maybe they go up and they run up, you know, when we have bull runs,
well, that's the
they hit
part
25, 30, 40
Well,
bucks.
that's
But
what comes into play as well. Floor wise, yeah, it won't hit.
No,
that,
but that's also why.
But mint wise, you still.
That's also why not to jump on, because even if it does pump, it's not gonna pump like you're saying. It's not gonna pump to $90. You'll get it at $30. If there's a reason, a catalyst, a reason why you should get it, it's gonna take a while for it to get to.
Or certain
point.
ones, you know, I was buying the What If comics at $10, $12, 15. When everything was up, they pumped to like 30, 35, 40. So if I had to let go of a few, I ended up letting go of all of them. I mean, you saw at some point, I think I had 60 comics or like 50 something comics. Now I've been buying more and stacking a little more. So I'm back up to 30, but I cleared out more than half of my comic collection just because I was like, you know, as an investment, man, like I want to have that money somewhere where it's kind of setting the pace of the market, be able to buy in on these bigger ones and not just take my moonshot on some of these smaller ones. Well, this one could blow up but it's like, well, we know Spider-Man 1 is going to blow up, like no matter what, you know, Marvel Comics 1 is going to blow up. I mean, that one's probably going to just have people trip out when they're like 60,000 and the floor price is a G. Like people aren't going to believe that. Like, how is this $6 comic that they sold for $6 a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? How's that worth $1,000 now? But to us, it'll make sense. So it's like, why not have 1 or 2 of those, 3 of those? Because a lot of the OGs, they missed the boat, bro. Even the ones I follow, almost none of them, I'm telling you, almost none of them got more than 1 copy of that MC1. And even if they did buy it, they sold it when it hit 100. They cleared it out. And they know they're getting the same info we are. It's just, you know, that you know, not greed, but making decisions on certain stuff. But I think that comic is just MC1 is just, you know, it's gonna be the one that everyone talks about, like, and everyone's gonna want. And we got to get it. It's been one of our goals, like, to get it, but
don't have one yet on the hit list.
And then the final drop of the week, Ben, was today's drop, the Peggy Carter one, right?
Yep. Which was with it's Captain America and Iron Man. Tells the suspense with Ultimo lives, but yeah, it is the first appearance of Captain Carter, well, Peggy Carter, who turns into Captain.
Yeah, I went for it. I missed. I took the L.
I didn't buy one in the market either.
Yeah, I didn't touch it in the market.
Yeah, all these copies are very low on the market right now. It's not this one did not pump.
I thought there might be like a little bit of effect where, like,
floor is 950.
Since Ghost Rider pumped, this one was gonna kind of pump. Like people are like making, you know, 1 and 2, like, oh, this one did good. Let me go and stack this one. But
no,
I feel like the market's getting a lot smarter, dude. Like the new booties, as you know, you see that influx of new users, and they're not, you know, kind of naive, but there's quick learners. I mean, we all learn pretty fast. It's not like it's that hard to learn either. You know, you start getting into it and you get your mind blown a little bit. Like some dude that I know just recently got on it, and I send them all the comics and crypto stuff. I'm like, here's how to kind of grade the comics. This isn't official. This is just a nice little guide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here's their top 20 comics of ones you could hold for a long time. And, you know, here's how I do it. Just here's some quick information. You know, he's like a younger dude. So I just laid it on him. He was like, what the hell, dude? I had no idea about this. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's its own world in itself. Especially just comics. Comics could be its own app. You know what I mean? And the fact that we have collectibles and comics on VeVe is pretty crazy. But yeah, man. And then to go on into the week as we got our list, obviously, we got to talk about the war in Ukraine and all that's going on. Not only is it a messed up situation, but, it has its effects from all the markets, from crypto to, stock market, to even affecting the NFTs. So, yeah, man, like that's been a trip. We saw it affect it. And we've made a cool little recovery since, but that definitely was this past week was pretty crazy. That we saw a lot of markets take a huge hit, and VeVe wasn't immune to that either. We saw one of the craziest dips that we've been a part of. Our first crazy dip,
Insane
on the
dip.
app, and then a lot of prices for people who had saw stuff run up. I think we saw a lot of prices that we probably thought we wouldn't see again. What do you guys think about that crazy dip?
Some prices still haven't even recovered.
100%.
Some are still down.
I saw it in the feed. that some girl had posted up like, oh, I got this for this much. She posted how much she bought it for, how much it's worth now.
Right,
like,
right.
This is my whole portfolio, and you told her like, you're fine, just hold on, like just relax.
Oh, you saw that? You saw that activity?
Yeah, I saw it on the feed, and I saw you.
And I saw someone put like 5 negative points, and I wrote 5 positive things, or the opposite. So yeah, I'm an optimist. What can I say?
Yeah, but it definitely has happened that way where.
Right. I mean, I bought Wonder Woman at 1,000 and she's at half, so that sucks.
The lenticular cards are actually
they're getting beat, right?
Yeah, it's the wallet. I mean, they're still kind of up there, but you can get Daisy right now for 285. That's the floor.
That's good.
For the Ultra
Pluto's all the way down to 600.
Yeah, 595 right now.
595. That's crazy.
595.
And these things ran up. I mean, even the Mickey Mouse lenticular hit a G when it dropped. Remember? That was crazy.
And people were buying them instantly. 2 seconds.
I would have sold the one too that I got, but it took forever to deliver, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait.
A 40 gem lenticular. They were buying them instantly.
You know what I saw? You know what's interesting about that right now? That the moment we're in the market, things are still hella down. Certain things they got bought up, right before that secret rare drop of 007. Me and Cisco are literally texting each other. We're all texting each other like, are you gonna buy anything? Are you gonna buy anything? And we made the decision of like, all right, let's just hodl, let's just see what happens, have some liquidity, which it has its advantages. And then but this was a time like, there was that extra that day before, Friday night and into Saturday, right before the thing, like the Spider-Man Uncommon season 1 hanging upside down was like $390, $400. The one that I was about to pull the trigger on, Steamboat Willie Uncommon, was $470.
Yeah.
And I think it had gotten low as $440. And I had the $470. I'm like, man, I literally had like $475 in my account. Like, should I pull the trigger? Like, if I do, my gems are locked up now. I'm not gonna sell it. But that one's been on my list, as far as like a blue chip. I believe that is a blue chip, Steamboat Willie, the whistling one, Uncommon. Like, that is an amazing NFT that without a doubt in a couple years I believe is gonna be over 5 figures.
It's still at 550 right now.
No, it's still within striking distance. That's the crazy part. But it pumped right after that, the secret rare of the 007, that thing pumped to like 660. I think it hit $700 again. So from 470 to $700 in a matter of a couple hours, like that was a huge swing. If you had just sold that, you could sell at 700, buy right and back now at 550, use the other 150 and get you, an ultra rare comic or whatever you want to get with that. But that was a crazy week. Did you guys buy anything?
A comic that's still down is Fantastic Four #1. So it's at 125, sitting there still.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man #1. It's at 138 right now.
Did you guys pick up anything on the dip?
No.
Anything good on the dip?
Like you said, I held and waited, and there was some that were really low, and it wasn't necessarily that I thought it would go lower. I just wanted to see if it was going to sit. Like maybe it'll sit, maybe go up a little bit. I ended up afterwards like, I'm just going to go get some stuff that I want for sure. I got another Ultimate Fallout. Picked up one of those. I picked up the T'Challa Common, the Wakanda Forever. Picked up one of those. And that one was low too when I got out. Let me see what it was exactly. But
the Common?
Yeah, the Common.
Dude, I think it hit price, I think it hit 79.
Check this. So like the floor price currently right now is 98, right?
Right.
It was at like 67 when I bought one, right?
Right.
So I was looking through them and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get this one.
67, so it hit under $70.
Low.
Yeah, man.
I saw it pretty damn low. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but
because I saw my collectibles, he bought the ultra rare of that one of the Black Panther at 400, and then it dipped all the way down to I think 330, 320. And just to even get it at 400 was a deal.
No, when I ended up getting it was 95, and now the floor is 95. At 98.
Right,
so
right.
It's like it's gonna go up. After because that's just
I sent you guys a list. Like the Marvel ultra rares were all down crazy amounts, from Black Panther to Deadpool ultra rare hit 290. It's like, damn, 290. That thing was like at $700. Like, even to get it under 5 is a deal. To get under 4 is a deal. To say you got under $300, like, damn, that was a crazy deal. And I was just looking at them all. The Alligator Loki hit like 130 or something, 140 for the ultra rare. I'm like, you can't get a lot of ultra rares on the entire app for that price, especially a Marvel, So the deals were insane. Me and Cisco held. Who knows if it was truly the best decision, but in the end, The only thing was like I had some liquidity and I was able to stack up on the Ghost Rider. That's why I was like, you know what? And then I ended up hitting that Luke Cage, the Heroes for Hire. I just happened to check the price on it, and someone posted like sub 700 for $50 of that one, the common.
Damn.
And the floor is like 18, 19 bucks. So I'm like, they barely went like double, but $50 for a 3-digit. Like, oh, they're gonna regret this one. I mean, that's practically giving it away. Yeah. I'm like, I gotta buy it. There's no way I could turn away from it. Which sometimes that happens. You go into the market, you refresh, you see a deal, and then you get it, and then you're like, was that the best deal? And then you have to go check after, like, was anyone else listening? You're like, oh my God, I could get a one lower mint for like $30 cheaper, and I just bought this one. It happens.
Yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago, I got the uncommon Hero for Hire sub 5% for $30, and the 30 gems, and it's at 1975 right now. So 11 gems over,
right,
and it's sub 5%. And everything else around it was like at 55, 65.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah.
And just to dive into those two, like Heroes for Hire, the Captain America with Falcon, the FA, and then you had Ghost Rider. Those are probably the 3 biggest comics that have dropped on the app this year, I'd say. And obviously Ghost Rider is far and above, but don't sleep on the Heroes for Hire. It's actually the 3rd most popular comic of the Bronze Era. And the 1st most popular of the Bronze Era is Ghost Rider. So we got 1 and 3 in the same week, which is pretty dope. Don't sleep on Ghost Rider, man. I'll probably buy a few more because like anything you get under $50, that's $100 comic. Like you're at least gonna 1x in the short term. So it's like that's 100 for sure. And then if it legs up, probably gonna be looking wherever Daredevil ended up, 185, 195, to something when that pump happened. So keep, if you're thinking about buying a few, not financial advice, but maybe buy a couple, flip them, keep one, keep the lowest mint, flip the other 2, and then you could put that money into something else when you're up, But yeah, man, another crazy week. Like we said, that dip was insane. We had another article come out with the MTL. We covered the MTL a lot last week, so I'm not even going to try to talk about it anymore. But it's just dope to see that it's moving along. There's actually already people getting the beta testing. So money is out. You have to have 1,000 in your account to qualify. And I think that's still having an effect on the market. Like people aren't going to believe they could take the money out and then until they can actually do it with their own, so they can try and do it. They're not going to believe it.
Just because you have 1,000 gems doesn't mean you're able to. It's only
if you have 1,000, they'll allow you to do it, but you have to at least take out 50.
That's the minimum. Yeah,
that's the minimum. And then it still takes approval date and transfer date. So it's going to take a while.
And it felt like people were trying to get to that, or like they're willing to let go of shit because they know they can get money out now. But with the fees and everything, they're going so low that it's like you're not getting the value of payment. What that is actually not going to get
optimized yet.
Right.
You're going to pay because it's not optimized, because it's
beta. But you go through that. The market reacts to it. People make the mistake or they make the assumption. And then the market reacts back to that. So everyone pictures this crazy flash crash and like, oh, we're gonna go down. It's like, no, we've been priced in with MTL since the start of the year. And first it was the FOMO. Everyone saying buy it up because these prices are gonna go crazy. And when everyone started buying it up, that's when the big money started selling it. Like, I got them all. Y'all want to buy them at these ridiculous prices? Y'all are tripping. All right. And we're the only ones like, oh, this is the true price. But in reality, like, no, they were pumped up prices because it just people were FOMOing in and trying to get their hands on everything. And so I guess, the only thing we can do is make a note of that and try to recognize that next time. It's easier said than done, because when you're in the moment, you think it's going to go up forever. The greed kicks in and you think it's just going to keep going up. Like even my Steve Rogers, Little Mighty Marvel, right? I'm like, that sucker hit 240, 250. I got him at $45 and I didn't even think twice about selling. I'm like, nah, Charlie, like this is a blue chip. Like this is FA.
Pure speculation.
Yeah. And then he drops all the way back down. Now he's at 80. Why? Because we got Spider-Man. They dropped the whole Spider-Man. That makes Steve Rogers probably like the 5th best Mighty Marvel now. And at the time, he was probably the best common. And now, like, I'd put Spider-Man above, I put Ghost Spider right there with them. You know what I mean? And then you got all those Mighty Marvels that they drop. Now it just makes it even like, hey, what do you think is going to happen when they drop the Guardians of the Galaxy Mighty Marvels? When they drop, you know, whatever it may be, the New Mutants Mighty Marvels, the X-Men Mighty Marvel. We got Wolverine, we got Magneto Mighty Marvel. Like it now, Captain America is going to go even more lower, and maybe he'll take him a long time to reach that 240, 250 climb again. You know, it may take a good minute. But who knows? Who knows? Next run up, he may even go past that. You know, we just don't know. But that Spider-Man wall was crazy. That Crypto Pro had shared, and I actually had sent you guys the video. I guess you guys couldn't see. But yeah, there's a crazy sell wall by this profile. I think her name was like Mary Jean or something, but she has like 50 Spider-Man
working for her.
50 Spider-Man that she just
it was like over 100.
Over 100 Spider-Man.
The whole video, Crypto Pro
that she did. No, dude, yeah, I did the same thing. Yeah. So she has a sal wall right now, 113. Sarah Jean. So if y'all don't know what a sal wall is, it's pretty much this. Whales are people with a bunch of one item, right? What they'll do is they'll list that one item at a set price. So let's just say if the item's going for 100, they'll list it at 99. They'll put 50 of them. Now, if you're new and you want to sell your item real quick, you see 99 and you want to undercut, you put 97. Now, the next person comes up, they put 96. Now, the next person comes up, they put 92. So this whale now, what they do is they start sniping the smaller one. Then even if someone happens to buy the one that they have at 99, they're making enough profit to just wash that. Where what they lose, they break even by buying the cheaper one. So maybe they lose one or two, but they just get that gems buy cheaper one. So there's a mean old sell wall right now, 113. On that
129.99.
129.99.
Floor is at 107 now. That was
so that whale. So it was the floor was 130. She put it at 129.99, creating that sell wall. Now the floor is
107.
107. So now I don't even know what she's doing. She probably just wants to snipe them as they get lower. But that gives an opportunity for, say, someone like us. That's an item that it's really not even fair, because the moment she takes all of those off, the floor is going to be 130 again. And then less listings, you're going to see 50 listings, 100 listings jump right off. And it's going to create a buying frenzy where people are just going to pick up a bunch of them. Because, you know, that's the thing about VeVe, man. Like, it seems like you're low, but it's really the undercutters. Dude. That price is still 300. There's just 9 people willing to sell it for 280, 298, 290, 270. All of a sudden, you're all the way down to $200. So many, dude. And so, once those get bought up, or even the next one's up, you have to count when you're seeing the listings. If there's only 5-6 listings that are keeping that sucker from being a 1x, so it's at $200, but there's only like 8 listings, and the next listing up is $400-$500. You know, that's an item that floor is not really a true floor. It's just people undercutting. You really want to see consistent 150, 155, 160, 163, 5 fools at 163, 6 fools at 165. Yeah. Now you know you have steps. But when it's so flimsy, where it's just like 3 people undercutting, I mean, that to me is that's a signal, hey, buy that. You know, you're probably gonna get into profit pretty quick.
People see it being bought, so then they post it at that price too, and they undercut it right back on everyone else who's just now at the new floor. So yeah, that shit is crazy.
But yeah, man, that was the week in VeVe. It was, you know, to be honest too, like with the pullback, there were a lot of people who were worried. We got that pump and it kind of gave some relief, I think. And it balanced everything out now, because now there's things popping and there's things going down. For a minute, everything was either going up or everything was going down. And it was like we talked about in the other episode, as things are going down, the blue chips were popping, because everyone thought, well, we were thinking, if it's going down, sell and get into these bigger items. Mm-hmm. And even people with more experience than us and stuff made that mistake, and they bought a lot of stuff up. February was a trap month. If you bought anything in the first week or two, you're down bad right now, you know? And even though it had come down from the pump, so you're like, hey, It's down from all-time highs. Now's a good time to buy. It was at 300. It's at 200. And you buy it. And now that's at $80. So it hurts. It does hurt, but it's a lesson to be learned. And I think the pump up gave a little relief. Now we're kind of in a truer market, and we are poised. And I was saying this to Cisco. I called him because we had told each other, man, like, now's the time to hold. Let's just see what the market does. But with everything, even with crypto and everything else, I told him, I'm not calling it for sure, but March just looks bullish. It feels like, damn, things are about to go up. Like regardless, maybe we head back down, but there's gonna be a point, and you see it with Bitcoin. You see it.
Depends what comes out. What forces that gem squeeze? What's gonna make everything go down?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty bullish right now.
The DC cover girls were going under their list price. Those had went.
Well, the Batgirl, dude, they can't give that sucker away.
Like, wow,
she's going for like $40. They listed her at 50, right?
I was seeing it at 38 gems.
Yeah,
37. Like, damn.
Straight taking a loss and holding it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But yeah, man. So like we said, this was a crazy week. We're looking forward to stuff in March. As always, we talk in the next segment about some of the top plays of the week. We talked a little about them a little earlier as far as what we've been buying and seen that dip and things like that. But is covered a little on what you bought in the dip. Any losses and gains? You know, is there anything you're looking at like, damn, or anything you bought that just plummeted after you bought it?
Amazing Spider-Man #1.
What did you buy it at again?
I bought that one at 155.
That's still not bad though.
Yeah, my first one I seen it go down as
you bought it at 270.
Like a month, like 2 months ago.
How low did it hit? 80? No, 85.
I seen like 110. I seen one.
No, it got under 100, dude.
97, I think that was when I saw it. Because they were getting bought when they got that.
I don't know if it got down to the 80s.
They were sitting at that price.
Right.
It was like hit that price and then boom, it's gone.
Yeah, and then it was just 100. And I'm telling you that 3-digit. No one's willing to let it go for less. And that 3 digits, like, you know, it's worth that 100, and people are right there like a stalemate. Are you gonna let it go for less? Can I get it for 95?
You need that?
And then if we're like, I'm not listed at 101, $100.99, $100.94. Who's just listing pennies under, like, just to be the cheapest one on the market.
Well, that's kind of crazy about the whole Ghost Rider one. Like, we weren't in on that one, so some people bought a bunch when they were $10, $7. Even on the drop, they probably just got a bunch of them. So they're willing to get rid of some at that lower price because they know people are going to buy them. And then they go after whatever they want. Like you said, like other things that were low. Ultra
and I think that's another rule we got to talk about. Like, if you are going to sell, obviously you want to get into something else and being a profit. Because in the end, too, what I've seen, too, when I was holding the gems, I was holding 500 gems. You know, I think I had 525 just ready to make a purchase. And the gems themselves, because they're solid and they stand still, they still can represent a certain item. Even though you're not holding it, you're like, I can buy that right now. I could buy this right now. And you can kind of be like, I'm going to choose not to, but I'm going to see where they play. But there's a power to having the liquidity and the availability to buy it, right? And so once you buy that item, you give that up and you're in the position now wherever this item's going to take you. So it was more like be a little smarter and watch what happens. That was kind of our go at it with this time around, you know? And it's still important to think, because you start saying, like, you may sell something now and we're still so early, you know, and we might look back a year from now and be like, damn, the biggest mistake was just selling anything. We just didn't have sold anything. Fresh money wins. If you really want something, load up gems so you get there, you know. And I got to 525. I was like, I hadn't done that yet. I had been loading gems just to buy stuff. I hadn't just load gems as like a stable coin. Like, let the market do whatever it wants, but I'm just going to put $50 every day of gems, or $20 every 2 days. And that's what I was doing, you know. And I'm like, all right, that's another cool little thing to practice, because then once that market goes down, you could just snag it, or you have the liquidity to move into something that's kind of like, you know, something you want, you know, you're going to hold for a long time, you know, better than buying something you could eventually just go, you know, potentially just go down immediately right after, you know, which has been the case for a lot of the stuff we've been buying.
That's true. Luckily, not hitting on drops is fucking not lucky. I mean, it sucks, but you load up gems. If you don't hit, you have those gems there.
Right.
Loaded.
A lot of people do just go spend them.
And that's what happened with the 007. You had a bunch of people who had 1,000 gems. People even who didn't have any business even probably having those 1,000, like they sold a lot, probably a piece of their portfolio.
Just imagine all the
but those were the random ones, but they're still going for the other secret rare, like, because it was blind box. So there was actually 2,507.
The people who
like available of that one, still super fucking rare.
When they released about the MTL that you need to have 1,000 gems, so they're like, "Fuck, I'm gonna sell some shit so I get my 1,000 gems," and then they released 007 Ashton Martin 1,000 gems, 1,007 gems. Oh, what a coincidence! Like, oh shit.
No, yeah, it's like VeVe be running these tests on us sometimes, man. It's a trip, you know. Like I had said that too when they did the black costume Spider-Man, and they only did 1,000 editions, and you know, scarcity and the people wanting it, and then not enough people being able to get it, and then seeing how the market reacts to that. I felt like they were just running a little experiment. And if you had done the math, like as far as availability times you know, scarcity, like I'm sorry, scarcity times how many people want it, and if you ran just the equation on that compared to the real life version of it, this real life version of it is almost worth nothing, right?
People don't
But
like
there's
it
but not only that,
people didn't adapt.
no, but like if there's 20,000 of them out there
on that one,
and it goes for $300, well, there's only 1,000 of these. So if you just did a math on it, it should go for 300,000. You check the market, the lowest price one was 300K. And you're like, did VeVe just run an experiment just to see, and it almost lines up perfectly? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was telling you. Like, it's kind of crazy like that. And there's certain comics in the real world, like that Kitty Pryde when everyone makes a big deal about the X-Men 129, and I did too. I like that. I like that comic. It's on my list. It's just lower, you know. But if you wanted to say, if you got a little bit of money, you're like $400 or $500, you're like, let me put in on a secret rare, ultra rare that I think is going to take off, that I can afford because I can't get MC #1. I can't get
Mr. Miles Spider-Man. Morales, Spider-Man, the ultra rare is only like 175, and it has both of them on the cover.
But here's my point.
Peter Parker.
But here's my point. So this is why I'm saying though,
you know,
that's a filler though, because they want you to think that. Oh, you have Peter Parker. Oh yeah, okay, but in real life, just use the real life as an indicator. How many are available in real life? A bunch. How much did they go for? Not that much. Okay, so then
true. But like you said, this is gonna be this generation of kids. Spider-Man is Miles Morales. So
I can't argue with it. I can't predict the future. So I mean, you don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
This is the first ever time that they appear together in the comic. It's Peter
you know,
Parker
I don't know that. You know. Spike Dudley might be able to beat the Undertaker, bro. But you know, I'm gonna put my money on the Undertaker, dog. That's all I'm gonna say.
And it's not, if you're comparing to other secret rares and ultra rares, it's at a discount. It's really even the Craven series, those secret rares and ultra rares are higher. Even though the commons and uncommons are low, really low, those are still higher. And this Spider-Man,
I'm gonna give you an example.
One that, like,
if Topps makes a card with LeBron and Jordan on it, maybe people want it, right? Like
it don't have
like,
to be
oh, you know, it has that. Yeah. But is it going to be more than LeBron's rookie card or Michael Jordan's rookie card? Of course not. Of course not. I mean, just because you threw them together, especially towards after. No, but I'm saying Miles Morales, that's his rookie card. No, we have a chance to get right now. We have the chance to get, you know, Steph Curry rookie card, like the next generation Michael Jordan, like the next dude, his Miles Morales. While his rookie card is Ultimate Fallout, he's only in like 2 pages. I went and read it. It's just like, it's not even anything. It's just to say that's his FA. That's his rookie card. And it's almost like a humbling thing, because when they're a rookie, you're a baby. No one knows how great you're going to be. And no one would have known that about Tom Brady. No one would. So that's kind of like, that's all I'm saying, you know. And out of all the comics in the world, how many comics are there?
Look at this. Ultra rare is only $85 on that
one. I wouldn't buy it. $85. You want to buy it? I'd rather take that 85 and I'll go buy Fantastic Four #1. You know, or number 5. It was down to 80s. It's like 110 right now.
Rare comic, and regardless of your beliefs, there are only 1,050 editions of that cover.
There isn't 1,000 people who want that shit.
No, not right now. But you only use this. You bought it 2 weeks ago. How Miles Morales would be the Spider-Man for this generation.
Yeah, and then they bait you. Then VeVe is not dumb. They go and say, "What could we drop so that they're not, so our adoring fans don't, you know, bitch at us? Oh, we'll drop Spider-Man." Like, really? Okay, that's cool. And fools, Miles Morales, Peter Parker. It must be great. It's gonna be like MC #1. That's a $300 comic one day. Like, no, it's not.
It doesn't have to be that. For $85 for an ultra rare, that's a steal right there. Regardless, it still is.
Well, $85.
There aren't many ultra rares.
No, yeah, you still get your 4 points, I believe, right?
2 iconic fucking characters right there.
Is it a 2-pointer or 3-pointer? I think it's a 3-pointer. Ultra Rare is a 3-pointer.
I mean, I'm
Then
not.
if it's
I'm
a
not buying
sub
one.
5%,
I'm not buying one, but I'm just saying if you want it, just add
no.
it to your portfolio.
If I had
not a
$85,
bad buy.
I would not go buy that. $85 right now,
not a
I'd go
bad
buy
buy.
me a rare Ghost Rider, or go buy you two
But Miles
uncommon
Morales
Ghost Rider.
Isn't your favorite superhero?
What do you mean? I never said he's my
No,
favorite.
I'm saying for someone who's it is.
But
that
if
they
you
love Miles
again,
Morales.
if I could love LeBron, it don't mean I want like a little card they made. I want the significant one. I want the rookie card. I want his first championship card. I want certain stuff like that. And you have to be able to recognize those on the app.
I get what he's saying.
That's all.
It is speculation. Like, yeah, the market will be set by who's willing to buy it. That's what art is. That's what collecting is. It's like, I want this. This is what I value it. And if enough people value it,
like
there ain't a lot of them.
you're waiting
way,
for people
like,
to put the value on it, but
I'm just saying, like you gotta think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, like that comic will be just up on like in a pile with the other comics, and then you're gonna have 10 to 20 that are right there on your wall. Like those are sure you may like the cover, you may like certain personal stuff, but there's gonna be just off of scarcity and off of people wanting it, the ones you're just glad you got.
Yeah, but how many?
Like I'm so glad I got.
Can you get for under 100? There's not many.
No, that's true.
There's not
that's
many.
true. But I'll say
Peter
that's why I don't want it.
Peter Parker.
That's why I don't want it. I don't want something
that
that no one else wants. That's the beats the whole purpose.
Talk,
they don't want it right now.
Took 4 episodes. Fuck you.
No, just buy your Spider-Man. Just don't say that I have to buy it because I like Miles Morales.
I didn't say you have.
Miles Morales
you just
is the new Spider. What do you mean? How
you said he was gonna be bigger than Peter Parker. That's what you said.
He is. Mark my words. He'll be bigger than Peter Parker, bro.
Damn. Man.
They had to drag out Peter Parker. Like, they didn't even give us the Miles Morales collectible I thought we were gonna get, and we didn't get Mario. So I'm saying in March, I have no expectations. What I will say is we're gonna get Gavinci, and it's gonna break the app a little. The same way that Ultra Rare and the Secret Rare 007 did. Like people won't care like necessarily. I don't really care about it, but it's gonna be one they know is gonna be huge. Where
honestly, I'm not even putting anything past, like, I'm not thinking past anything as far as for this month because of what this generation and what the times are now as far as like inclusivity and all that, and it being the women's month and everything. Is like there are a lot of characters and things, avenues they can go. Maybe even like a dope female artist will put out her work or something. Like there's a lot of ways they can go, and it's right. And they did it for Black History Month. They did it.
Well, they're missing March Madness for sure from the sports side, and Recurge just dropped their thing. So I'm like, I was just wondering, like, you think they'll do anything for sports, but it's not looking like they are. Not this month.
But we'll see what they do at all. Like in general, just like there is a lot of options as far as for it being Women's Month, the Disney princesses, things like that. There's a lot they can go to that we don't know. And like you said, with the last one for Valentine's Day, Disney wanted to drop that, right? So then who's to say? Whatever it is, even the lenticulars, if you get a second set of it that's different now, or whatever, like who knows, like how they're gonna go about it. So for March being Women's Month, that's what I look at it, because like we got Peggy and we got She-Hulk, right, to start. But a lot of people don't, like some people don't see value in some of them, or some people do. That's how
I'll be like they're both fillers. They're both filler comics that they're cool to have if you want to get them. But again, if you're gonna spend 10 gems or 20 gems on getting those just to have it, I would rather put that 20 or 30 towards a Ghost Rider right now, towards something right now. Just have that mentality for the now and going forward for a minute, because there's gonna come that time where you just can't get them no more. Like not out of your range,
like
but
you give me but what if they drop Phoenix?
I think we're literally.
There's a lot of options for this month if they're gonna stick to that theme.
Oh yeah.
I think we need to say this too. We gotta get away from it'll never go under this or never. Because honestly, anything can come out. VeVe could put anything out on the app that could crash the shit again at any given moment. That's how I see it now. That's what I see as a pattern. They're when they put something good out, everything goes down. Everyone wants to sell so they can have their gems waiting for that shit. Even if they don't hit on the drop, they're waiting to get that shit in the aftermarket right after the drop. And I think that's gonna continue to be the pattern now.
No, well, that's why. What
I think it's like.
What can you think in this one for this month? What could come that could bring that? And like I'm saying, maybe that Gavinci drop, because you had their certain stuff from their first collection go crazy. But that's
you do
up there.
Whatever they drop, if it's something big, people will do it. If they introduce a new line in that they're dropping. if they did bring out Nintendo, that's gonna just it's gonna crash a lot of gems. They're like, I'd rather not have these comics. I'd rather go for that shit, just the way you're saying. But they're gonna liquidate what they have to get what's coming out new.
Right.
And if it's something brand new, I mean,
well, there's definitely been the pattern. That's definitely, but there's also been, the time that happens, and then the next few drops, although they're big, they're not golden moments, they're not lenticulars, they're not certain stuff like that, where they can get some sizzle, but it just doesn't have the same effect. And that's why right now the market's interesting, because there's certain things that are showing that they're going up slowly while everything's kind of still kind of regressing back. Other things just keep kind of just not going up crazy, but kind of holding and getting back to that recovery in that area where you're in profit and you feel good. And then I'm telling you, if you're in that area and they do a drop that just doesn't really do anything for you, it's a cool drop. There's people who are interested, like that, the Pi Fantasy and all that other stuff, like, and they sell you on it. Hey, this is why it's really dope. This is why we mess with. I mean, they're VeVe. They got some of the biggest brands, so like, they're not just messing with anyone. But at the same time, it just doesn't really hit. You know what I mean? Then you'll see those prices, I think, go the opposite way. You'll have people who go, I would sell for this, but it doesn't really interest me that much. And this stuff just keeps going up. And then the mentality changes. I need to get this. I need to get this before it's out of my reach. I don't care about the drops right now. Boom, 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 boom. Let me go buy. Let me go pump. One interesting thing that Randy Chavez said today in his live stream, shouts out to the real Randy Chavez. Hopefully I'm at that 10-cent Omi party later on this year because I have RSVP to that. So shouts out to him.
+2.
He said the last 2 days, March 1st and March 2nd, were the first 2 days in a while that there hasn't been 1 million gems uploaded. There was actually less than 500,000 gems uploaded.
Well, look what they dropped today.
You don't need to upload as much to get those.
Right. But even when they had no drops, they've been averaging over 1 million gems a day for a minute. It's just been hot. Like, as far as the market and money pumped in, even maybe someone doesn't buy it right away.
If they drop
it's just interesting. I don't know what you can make out of that info, but
right
it's
now
just
with the movie. I think that would be one that does it. Right now, with the movie out right now on the hype, if they drop a Batman one, regardless of what it is, that's gonna pump too.
Right. It seems like
it comes outside
of Marvel.
Who knows?
Outside of Marvel, like, let's just look. No one's really lining up their releases with VeVe like that. Like, they got it, but like no one's done, like Jurassic Park, the preview, whatever. They don't have nothing, even though we're supposed to get it maybe for the movie. But it seems like VeVe has been the one. Oh, Disney Plus, they're announcing She-Hulk. Let's give them the She-Hulk comic, maybe because they have more stuff to pull from. And to think that Batman is just like, it seems like the black and white Batman in that collection, they had it planned and they've been rolling it out. To think that they're just going to now come with a movie one that's more dedicated to this, so far they haven't shown that evidence for it. Like, they didn't do a Justice League one, they didn't do certain stuff, they just haven't yet. So I just, the way you could speculate for the upside, I could speculate for the downside, to say, hey, maybe they're not as tight with DC as much as that, and their stuff was a release artistically for these statues, but they may not have a intention of really going down that Marvel road with DC. Like, we're going to give you every Batman character now. You're going to get this. It seems like they're just statues right now. They've been transforming DC statues that kill in real life, that do good, and they're doing the digital counterparts. Kind of safe, dope, but they're definitely not, I don't think there's one animated Batman
he's anti DC
collectible.
Just FYI.
I'm not anti DC. I'm cool with DC. I haven't seen Batman. I wouldn't go to watch it on the first one. I don't like Robert Patterson, or that fool's name is. That fool's too freaking.
Patterson's
that fool's too pasty
Patterson.
for me, dude. That fool's all pasty and shit.
Amazing.
It is.
Now he's a detective. Look, give me Christian Bale.
He's always been a detective. I mean, but
no, he's a super agent. Christian Bale, they turned him into 007, bro. Batman, they did it right, dude.
Man.
Yeah, I wasn't saying a movie just any drop of Batman, just because the movie's out.
But I'm just saying, there's evidence to show that DC isn't really lining their stuff up like that.
Look, one thing I'll say
look
right
at DC.
now,
Look at the series. Look at they got the Peacemaker. Dope series. HBO Max, right? They didn't drop nothing for Peacemaker. Not a poster, like not a helmet, not nothing. It don't matter why. Like they're just not lining that up, and that's obvious. There's nothing. They had Justice League, the Snyder release. They didn't do nothing for it. Not retroactively or even now. There's nothing that it seems like they're going that route as they're tied in with as much. We have to remember too, like a lot of these contracts, all this stuff, this predates. This was just an idea they pitched in 2019, 2020, and now they're rolling out in real time, 2021, 22, those ideas they had there and moving it on the fly. So to just assume that they have other stuff in the pipeline for that, I mean, it's, there's not enough evidence to be like, oh, for sure we're getting all that. Like this might be it.
Sure, anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying about the whole like tripping out on the market.
I mean, I'd be pretty sure that Marvel ain't gonna stop till they drop everyone on Cisco shirt. Like, I'm pretty sure, dude.
Target.
Yeah, but for about 90% of those, you're gonna say
it's a filler.
So
yes,
it's just like, no, they can't all be fillers. They have fan favorites. There's people who love that character, who identify Spider-Man with that character. No, just even villains. There's someone who Thanos is their favorite character.
Yeah, like 1% of the people though. I get it.
But it's still their market. They hone in on it. And if they join the space, then that's what it is. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. Doesn't have to equal Marvel Comics #1. Oh, there you go. You set me up again halfway through the interview.
He does this every time.
I didn't do shit. I didn't even set this up.
You go like this with the mic.
Technical difficulties.
Right now, look, with what the market is doing, how you said, it's crazy. It's interesting to see the market how it is. But like the truth is, nobody knows the pattern of the market. The pattern changes constantly because of the new users that come in, and they're trying to figure it out and do the right thing that they can. Even us, you said, have you got anything that the gains went down? It's like, well, I bought Deadpool Uncommon.
Well, no one's vaults up right now.
No, a while ago. No, but
no one's vaults up right now.
It was at 147.
I mean, maybe only the OGs.
It was at 147. Now it's at like 68. It's funny. I was looking at it, and then you sent the screenshot, like, look at the floor, and I was literally looking at that one. That's why I sent you my picture right after. Like, I purchased it, got it at 67. Why not? I bought one at 140. I believed in it at 140.
Yeah. Plus, when you do that, you lower your average. Mm-hmm. So now the minute that you sell above your average, you at least cleared off one of them. So you bought one at 40, one at 140. The average is somewhere around $70-$80. So once you break that average, you sell one at 90. You at least now you just have to sell one more above that to break even. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing you can do when you buy something that's overpriced, which is messed up, which is fucked up about crypto and investing. If you buy something at 20 and it drops to 10, you got to buy it again, because that's the only way you're going to lower your average purchase price, which sucks. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's gone through my head, even with Wonder Woman. Like, seeing her, I bought her at a G. She's at 500. I'm like, honestly, the smartest thing we do, buy another one at 500. Now 750. The next time she hits a G, just sell one. And
and you said this earlier too, like as far as like the constant that I see, or that people that heard when people talk about what they sold, right, is that I'm gonna get it back later. I want to get it back later. It's like, all right, cool. So you got rid of it now. So even if the market goes up or whatever, like, to get rid of it again, like, yeah, there's people who they got rid of it, but their goal is to have it in their collection anyways. So it's like, if you got it, and you don't.
That's why sometimes having the gem is the liquidity.
Yeah, it's like,
so I got 1,000 gems, but you got Steamboat. You got Steamboat, but I'm like, I could own 2 of them right now. It's until that moment. It's not timing it, but at least understanding that, like, when you have the liquidity, you have options. But the one thing you're risking is, there comes that day when Steamboat is over 1,000. Now you can't afford it, and for a minute you could afford 2 of them, and the way that it was on the downside, it could easily leave you in the dust. And sometimes that happens. It hasn't happened with us necessarily yet, but that's the thing that that keeps people greedy.
Well, the day the battle statue Batman and Croc dropped, I was willing to pay 600 gems to get it that day. I was like, all right, if I see one, I'm getting it like that. Messed up and loaded gems, didn't get it, too slow. Should have had it already, but I wasn't fully committed. Mm-hmm. Then I saw the 1.6. Once it drops to 1K, I see a bunch of people posting, got it at 1K, find it. I forgot what profile is, like Dark Knight Will Rise again. Then it went all the way down like 480 during this low.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, what are you gonna stack up? What can you stack to then later go after what you want.
Right.
You know, like, or what's your play, but there's no like set in stone way of doing it unless you like that. If you're away when you got money like that, then it's like you don't really have to worry about it as much.
But no one likes to see what they bought go down 40%, 50%. It's gonna make you feel a certain type of way, especially if you're new. So for those new users, you know, if you bought it at the top, like it sucks, but obviously you only lose once you sell. So I would say don't sell. And not only that, but you know, understand too, like the purchase you made at that point, you're now setting a new point. Like you put a new faith, a new moment in that item. You bought it at a higher price, which, you know, I don't know. Like there's
that's why it's important to check the mint numbers when you're looking at if you're buying at the floor, because you might have the floor might be more than one page long, and if you don't take the time to scroll down and you end up like, oh, I'm gonna buy at the floor, this is the cheapest one, I'm buying at the very top of the page, you could screw yourself. It's like the Kang the Conqueror one that I got, the uncommon that I paid $270 for. Now the floor for that uncommon is $265. But the mint number I got, and that's a 10,000 mint issue, I got $22.88. So I'm in the top 25%. There's none even close to that price that I bought basically at $5 above the floor. And now I'm safe with it. Even when it drops, that floor drops, but my comic doesn't, because of the mint that it's in.
Well, you know,
you gotta look for those. But
that's
like,
why scarcity matters too. You know, like the scarcity of it is gonna like less people there available to sell. So you see these commons that got 13,000, 18,000, 30,000 releases. You're gonna dip because that's just a lot more people available who get the bright idea to sell it and or feel that pressure, whatever it may be. You know, just even playing the market. Like I saw even Wonder Woman hit 800. I was like, she's not gonna go to 1,000 before she goes back down to probably 7 or 6. You know, she's at 5. I couldn't have predicted 5 perfect, but I pretty much could have predicted the swing from 100, right? She's at 8. Where do you think she's going? 7 next or to 9 next? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's an easy ass question to answer. She's going to 7 next. Her trend has gone from 1,700 all the way down. She peaked at 17. So even when I bought her G, if I had even sold her at 15, I'd be up 50%, you know, $500. But for me, she's a long hold. I really want to see her through the end, you know, like that's the reason I bought it. I didn't buy it on a whim. I bought her like, no, you're the mini Superman. So when Superman breaks 10K, you're going to be, I'm not saying it'd be even half of that, but even if you're a quarter of that, you know, it's just psychologically. I can't own a Superman. Who's the next best thing? Who's just like him? Oh, Wonder Woman, the girl, who was the FA? Oh, this funny looking DC Direct one that turns a lot of people off. Cool. Wow, but it's just still FA and it's still Wonder Woman, right? Yep. 1,700, son. She didn't just run up to 1,200 and kind of tippy-toed at 14. Like, no. Ran all the way up, almost trying to be a big boy, and then got smacked back down. So I have to believe, like, when the next run up comes and Superman's over 10K and the Todds are at 20K, and you know, when the Walt statue hits 100K, like that next leg up, I'm not even talking, this ain't even parabolic, right? This is just where the next leg is pointing towards. Mm-hmm. Whenever that day comes, because people thought that would take the year. People were saying the Todd would take 10 G's for this year. We hit it in January. So it's like, man, like a lot of fools can, like that was the best case scenario. And it hit 13 so quick. So now it leaves you like, whoa, your head spinning, you know? So when the day that one hits 20, then yeah, I think Wonder Woman's going to be right there at 2-3 G's, you know, 2.5, 2.6. And no one's going to trip. Like, yeah, you should be. You're one of those. You don't look as good as the second edition that came out. You're a DC Direct. Yep. And, you know, I'm in it. I'm in it. But yeah, when she hit that, I had the decision. Let me sell her at 7. Sell her at 7, take the loss. If she goes down to 5, 450, I could buy back in, and what I saved would offset what I lost. You know, there's a certain point where you know that. And once I saw that and I considered it, I was just like, I just can't. It's pride now at this point. I've told too many people I bought her at a G to now say, to now be like that's my.
That was the first one. You're like, hey, dude, I'm working my way through it. I got 600 gems. I got 770 gems. And this thing's like, boom. He sends me the freaking AR. And I'm just like, that man's crazy. He did it. Like that was the first one. Was like, this one really went and did that. Like, all right, cool.
And at the time, like Marvel Comics was like 550, 600. So I even thought about buying one of those. I was like, damn, like that shit's kind of already out of my, like not out of my range, but that's a lot. You know, I just think that's an expensive. It's already running up. It was running up so high.
Like
it was crazy.
When it comes to VeVe and when it comes to these NFTs, like they're collectibles, right? But it's not like it is, and it's not. You know, it's not like collecting baseball cards. It's like, yeah, it's all baseballs, all the MLB, all of them are MLB baseball cards. That's what you're getting. You know, if you're getting the whatever it is, you know, like the tops ones. But when it comes to the collectibles, some people get those drops, and then they say, all right, what am I going to hold it to? What am I willing to get rid of it at? Yeah. When I got the Steamboat Willie and it was at 1.6 right away after, it was like, what are you going to do? You can just hold it? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm just going to hold it. Might as well. I see all these other ones that are pumped so high, right? But there's people who have no care in the world for it, no background on it, no understanding of it. They just know they got it, and it's like, oh, it's at 1.6. Well, now it's at 9. All right, I'm going to get 750 for it. And they're willing to just get rid of it instead of holding on to it because that messes with the market.
Well, right now I think that so when that starts to happen, no, they're eventually you're gonna be wrong. But you know, that's what people are scared of. That's what the greed kicks in. But there's gonna be the story of the dude who's like, I bought it at 7. You know, let's just say this. Say with me, Wonder Woman. I bought it at a G. It dipped to 5. I wanted to sell. Didn't want to hold it. I held. It hit 11, 1200. Hell yeah, I'm up again. Dips back down to a G. You say, I'm out. I'm not gonna go through this stress. I don't want to see it go to 700. Shoots right up to 2200. And you're there like, I sold for nothing, broke even, went through all this pain and suffering for 9 months just to break even. And right when I sold it, it blasted to the moon. It blasted to the moon, dude. Like, and it happened. And you hear that story. And then everyone gets FOMO that's going to happen to them and they hold. And it's almost like the sentiment of the entire market creates it. And right now we're at that moment where everyone's telling their cool story about how they sold. Hey man, I sold before this happened. Or haha, like everyone's crying, I bought at the top. And they're like, I'm so smart. Trust, like that mentality is what's going to get people in trouble, because once that happens enough, there's going to be a drop and everyone's going to expect, oh, it's going to go down. It's going to stay. And then the market's going to go freaking crazy. And all the stuff everyone wants is just going to be bought up and there's going to be no listings.
I said it goes to scarcity, dude. You don't have to be a committed collector who goes to shows, who tracks it down, who's on a hunt. You literally just have to open your phone and say, someone's selling it. I really want it. I'm going to get it.
Right.
That ability to do that and the scarcity that you talk about, like that's what's going to.
Well, there's certain items right now, as you look at them, they're at January level lows. That's why I bought Marty's hoverboard. So that was one of my pickups from this past week. Marty's hoverboard. I've been wanting it for a minute. It peaked at 500. I said if it ever got under 250, I'd buy it. Right before the dip, it hit 161, and I didn't pull the trigger. And now I bought it this week at 180. So it's still way on. And even at 180, I'm like, man, I could have got it at 160. But it's like, dude, 180. I used to just hope, like, man, this thing's 350, 400. Yep. This thing's so dope. 5 bills. It hit 500. I'm like, what? It's a common, like, I think when I got on the app, it was $100. So I was like, man, how the hell did this pump? That thing went like 4x, 5x when it pumped, dude. So that's why I bought, because it's only 7,000. So I'm like, this has all the recipe for one of those that melts your face. Plus, it's iconic. You see that hoverboard? Anyone born in the late 80s, late 80s, 90s knows instantly what that is. The minute you see the purple and the pink and all that, you're like, Marty's hoverboard from Back to the Future. Yep. Even if you don't even know the movie, like, oh, that's that, hoverboard. Like, dude, it's so crazy. Like, has such an imprint on pop culture. So that's why I pulled the trigger on it. But yeah, that was one where I was like, it's still under where I hoped I could ever buy it at. And
you've been talking about it for a while.
And I'm glad I got it. So shoot, that was a good buy for me. I'm happy with that one right there. And I was like, every time I've had gems, I buy a fucking comic. So I'm like, can you buy a collectible? Just every time I got 200-300 gems ready to buy a collectible, I'll see a comic. Oh, low mint. Damn. Oh, you know what? Miles Morales. I need to get me this. If I blow 200 on a comic, like, fuck. Yeah. Like, how does this happen, dude? I don't have no collectibles,
Yeah, I don't. I don't really have collectibles.
But yeah, man, I mean, this has been a cool episode. I think we're pretty much at the end. We went through everything. Obviously, we could talk all night about this, but we are going to give you guys a digestible episode today for episode 4, which I'm really proud of. If I could just say real quick, this, here at EOTR Studio, which we do music and hip hop in, I've been wanting to launch a podcast here for over a year. And I've done a few episodes where I've talked about myself, or I've talked about, hip hop, rap, and like, it just isn't the same. And I've been wanting to do something for a minute where I could just talk about something I'm passionate about, and just never ever shut up about it, right? Obviously. Anyway, it just means a lot to do this 4 weeks in a row, because that in itself is an accomplishment. Out of all the things we've been trying to get done, this is the longest consecutive thing that we've been able to accomplish here, which is kind of crazy, which is kind of a trip. So yeah, I got to give a little love for that. So cheers, guys. Salute to that. Episode 4.
Like I said, we don't know what's coming next this week. We don't know what's getting dropped.
So what I want to do is final thoughts, like Maury Povich. The final
I am
thoughts.
not the
Are you gonna? Who wants to do the final thought for this one? And then be Cisco. I was Ben was already talking. So
you want to go? Go ahead, Ben. You have final thoughts?
go ahead.
Well, final thoughts. I don't have any.
Oh,
There's nothing. There's
just
no
gave it to you.
speculation.
We just
There's no
gave it to you.
speculation right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
All right, we all get a
I
final
don't know.
thought.
We can all
We get- we all
speculate.
get-
Like I said, we don't know what's coming next. We don't know what's dropping next. There's nothing on the schedule right now to drop tomorrow or anything like that. So just keeping our ears open, see what's going on.
Final thoughts. My final thought is this: if you believed in it, continue to believe in it. There's no point in getting rid of it once you lose some or the gems are down. If you're so discouraged about how you feel about it, stop talking about how good you feel about it when it first happens. And eventually you might get a drop. Try different spots. If you're in your room every time you do a drop and you're like, this just sucks, go to Starbucks. That's what I did. I ended up getting a golden moment. I didn't do it on purpose.
The dude VeVe in 3,
Like,
that dude old Rhubar, he had him and his family.
Thoughts, bro.
Hold on, but I'm gonna tell you, like, to segue. He drives to
That's
like
final.
a spot where he gets the best 5G. I'm just saying.
No, I believe that. It worked out for me. But like, also just know, like, with all the dips and with everything where it's at, like, if you have the gems to spend and you're willing to do it, continue to believe in it. Hold tight on that in your own mental. Don't let it beat you up in your head. No matter how hard it is to look at it and be like, damn, I bought the zombie Spider-Man at 230 or 240 and it dropped all the way down to 110. Like, that sucks. I told someone else again, they get a better deal than you. You feel all shitty about it. It's like, well, if you saw it at that point and you bought it because you thought it was going to go to 500 gems, you thought you were never going to get a chance again, right? So just then hold tight. Let's see. There's a long ride. VeVe's invested in their own business too. They're not going to leave you high and dry on it. Everyone wants this to succeed. It's a dope community. Stay positive. Y'all.
You actually seen one of the
Those are good
on
final
VeVe,
thoughts
they're
by
talking
Cisco.
to
Stay
they're
positive.
talking to people on Twitter, and they asked them, well, what happens when your app goes away, when your app is no more? And VeVe's response was, we don't plan on going anywhere. He's like, and we plan on you being able to take your NFTs off the app. That's the goal,
Right.
to put it in your wallet and do what you do as you please
Right.
with it.
And to be completely honest, like, nothing's guaranteed, and you just have to say that, because hey, this is a startup company. This is a speculative.
They could Lana Rhodes us and pull the rug.
I mean, they can, and
run off
people,
for
you just have
millions.
to think, hey, would Disney give these people that? If they didn't vet them and check thoroughly, would Marvel be messing with United States Postal Service? Would Gavinci and Universal and Coca-Cola, and these are some of the biggest companies. They got lawyers on lawyers on law. I mean, Disney doesn't even. They don't mess with nobody, dude. Disney doesn't fuck with nobody that they don't want, bro. Like, they check you out nonstop. It's ridiculous to how they do it. So yeah, the people who are scared of that, there's always gonna be people who are scared. My final thoughts on this week.
Oh man, there's more.
Miles
gonna be some
Morales.
Miles Morales is really, first of all, he's Latino. Plus he's black. He's black and Latino. He's black Latino. And no, he's not black. He's Puerto Rican, so he's Boricua. But what Cisco was saying too, kind of keeping a positive mind. Some people, they've never invested in something like this before, so it's completely new. So they don't really like get how the markets work and stuff like that. But I just want to say this: we are really early. I'm gonna just keep saying it. because it's hard to put it in perspective how early we really are, and to understand the value of what you're holding. Like it may just seem like this, and other people can put it down. Was it an NFT? Was it? But yeah, you have to understand this is all brand new. You're owning pieces of digital property, so it's something just like these toys, just like anything else, right? But it's done digitally. So we hella early, enjoy these. That's what I was trying to tell people on the app too. Like, I can't get a drop. Well, look, one day there'll be too many drops and you won't even be able to even enjoy this, the anticipation, the excitement. You'll know if you're going to get it from the moment of the drop. I didn't get in the waiting room. I didn't get my raffle ticket. Cool. You're already disqualified from it. And then you're going to hate that. Like, I love the drop system. I love the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Like, I love taking my L, and I love when you hit and you feel like you hit the game winning shot. It's a thrill. It really is a thrill. And I think people are going to miss that once it's gone.
Yeah, right now they put a different definition for NFT, but like you could buy this on VeVe, but you can't cash out, but it might be worth this much. But right now, if you put 1,000, you can't cash out. And they're like, they give their own NFT. They're like, nah, fuck that. And they don't want it. But we got the real NFTs right here. And I believe in them to the future.
Wait,
people are afraid. Don't be afraid.
No, your thoughts are done, dude.
Right.
You're done.
One final tip that I'm going to rephrase it or rebrand it as a tip. Use your damn collectibles that you buy. Take a picture, use the AR, do it with your friends, just do it when they're not even noticing, then show them, be like, what? That's crazy. It looks dope. And it'll make you feel better about what you believe in and you being involved in the app. And they'll be like, what is that? That's what I do it at work all the time. Take a picture of it. Look, freaking Black Panther has his nuts on your neck. Oh, what the hell? That looks real. Like, hey, dude, turn around. Boom, Batwoman right there.
You actually see in the feed people going to Disneyland and doing on those pictures actually look dope. When they're in like Star Wars land and they're posting their R2D2.
Yeah, and check
out it actually does look dope.
On AR, it's dope too. All of that. Like, just use the app more. Be more involved in the app, and you'll get excited about it if you're feeling kind of down on it.
Yeah, man. And remember these days, because when we up, you're gonna feel like it's never gonna end, and that feeling of, oh, I'm a genius and look at everything. I told you guys, because it's coming, man. More people are gonna jump on, and even the people who are kind of on the fence about it, like, man, this is gonna get integrated. Like, people are gonna just have these.
Who's been running the movie industry for the last decade? Superheroes. They've been running it. Hands down. Marvel MCU has been running the movie game for well over a decade now.
On that note, we'll go watch Batman. Thank you guys.
Yep, Batman is dope.
Despite
DC haters, it was actually really, 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 really dope. Go check it out.
No spoilers.
It's 3-hour movie. Feels like an hour and a half.
And with that being said, for myself, VeVe Mescal, Ben-Jammin over here,
Vision 32.
we say peace. See you guys next week. VeVe Bros are out.